No.
I don't need to see this stuff. It was just like...
You don't need to see this bit, no, no. It's cool.
Very touching the event portrait. So, cool. You should go for it.
Okay, so just the first bit, this is just hello, just a quick intro. I'm just going to discuss roles, process of how we made the game just very briefly. Just problems and solutions, what we came up with, that's what everyone's going to do individually. Live demo, which you guys will have a go at. And then just any questions that you guys want to ask or add on to the demo just before the Innovation Festival, so we can just type it in there. Just the roles again, just going through really quickly. Like I was just a concept artist at the start, then communications manager between me and you. I was also 3D modeler. Lewis, he was he did programmer, I did a bit of modeling. He's also the designer, level designer for the thing. Ryan was a major 3D modeler and as James was an artist, concept artist as well. Daniel was the Foley artist, which I think is an audio
sound effects.
Means you make like sound effects out of ordinary effects.
And Keenan was a composer, so he did a lot of the background music, which you guys have heard in the game. Just again, really quick overview. This is just how we started. Was just basically, well, obviously when we got you guys wanted to do with us. Obviously we had a plan and discuss a lot of things of what we want to do for you guys, and you guys gave us a few ideas. Meetings and visits with you guys, so like you invited us down to your place and you give us ideas what you wanted, and then we presented it to you guys again, giving us more ideas about how you wanted it to be done, which is mainly VR, which is what we have done. Concepts and drawings, which is what me and James did at first, which is in the GBD, which is a game design document, for those that don't know. It just gives us a clear information stuff, like all the document work. It's just a lot of layering out assets and stuff. Starting to make the game, which is 3D modeling, audio, artwork, and programming, which will be done individually in slides, which everyone will go through how they went through it and how they felt what they did. More meetings, which again, you guys showed up, you saw a bit of the work that we did before it was all put together, so you'll see what Andrew saw, probably a bit more polished. Then we added improvements, which Andrew saw within the next meeting, and then just trying to finalize everything and hopefully get most of the stuff in. We've again had a few problems with like programming, but Lewis will explain it during the demo and stuff like that. And all that, I was communicating between you guys and stuff just to sort that out. So yeah, that was just a really quick breakdown. 3D modeling.
Right, so when we were 3D modeling the objects, first of all, we would find reference images. So when we went to Northumbria water, some of the photos that were given, we used those as reference. So stuff like pipes, bits of equipment, and then other bits we would search up and research as well. From those ones we had enough reference images, we would then go into a 3D modeling software such as 3ds Max or Maya, and basically recreate those out of shapes. Once we did that, we got the final model, we'll then put it into an FBX file, so that was easier to move over the demo. And then once we put it into the demo, it was ready to use basically.
So I basically did the me and Dan with the sound and we'll communicate to make sure they were in the consistent tone. What we're going to do originally for the soundtrack was they're going to have events. So it was basically something that happens in the project. So when you're playing it, if a certain event happens, it was meant to change. However, that was proved a bit complex under the time we had remaining due to organization. So what we ended up doing was basically I ended up doing 2 separate soundtracks, one for when you're inside the main facility and one when you're outside doing the acting on the task and stuff. So what I did do was make sure that had to be appropriate whilst creative. So I didn't make sure that the genre of the music was too in your face almost, but I didn't want to be too forgettable either. So that balance of being memorable, nice, but not being at the same time in your face and intense sort of thing. So keep them kind of just nice, keep them in the right positive mind frame. We had by a looping point. It's basically what it was is how often the track instead of just ending it repeats itself as long as you play the level for. So what we did was I agreed with Lewis to do a minute long, so it plays for a minute and it loops back on itself and make sure it does a smooth, so it doesn't just suddenly stop, it kind of goes back in and out sort of thing. And of course indoor and out tracks got similar tone, yet you can tell they're different enough to tell it and all that. Dan, take over.
I'm not keen focused on the music, I focused on more on the sound effects. I was going for more water theme. So any valves or flowing water, and in addition to that, any regular sound effects, so like clicking on the switch or computer switch. I categorized into 3 different categories based on their priority. So the sound effects, the regular ones, were the highest priority. The ambient sounds were the second priority because the ambient sounds focus more on the background and the overall feel of the game. And the UI sound effects for the user interface were the lowest priority because that's just the menu, which may or may not have been in the game. I don't really know. But the sound effects will cover both inside and the outdoors as well. And to make that, I used software called Adobe Audition, which allowed us to get far more accurately. So when I was editing them, there was a lot of background noise. Using Adobe Audition was far easier to get rid of it.
So for the artwork and concept art, as Kia mentioned, me and Kia worked together on a lot of the concept art design and the overall level for the inside section of the game and the outside section for the game. We came up with, I think Kia did the
first level.
Yeah, the inside part.
Yeah.
And then I took the outside, so it was split work between us. Came up with a couple of concepts each, and then we put forward the ones that we thought would have been suitable for the game.
Which we used, again, based on pictures that you guys give us for the office, which you saw the first one.
Yeah. And then when we had those concepts ready and sketched up, we then digitized them and then sent them over to Lewis to do the level designs inside the editor. So we just picked up like basic blocks and put them where things would be, so then when the modelers had their models all set and ready, they would just move them into the placeholders like you saw before when you came in. And then after we'd done that, I was tasked with making a starting logo for the game and an icon for the desktop, which are on the bottom. So we're just sort of using Dwayne Pipe, the main mascot of Northumbria Water, with a VR headset on, since I've made a VR product, with the colours of the Northumbria Water logo, which is have on everything really. So we've put that on the background. And I think that's pretty much it. Came with a couple of sketches for that as well, and then ran through them and saw which ones were suitable and which ones were not so suitable.
Right, so
He's a bit tired, he hasn't had
Sure.
it. It's okay. We're going to show you through the demo if we have to, because I think he's a bit tired.
so the blueprinting was quite difficult because it was quite a lot of how to do. So basically every time and not like anything happening in the game, you need to say what everything does, and it was quite complicated. So you use a system that's like flowcharts. If you've seen like flowcharts, how you have different like events in a flowchart, and it all like flows into the next bit in the middle. So essentially, it's not actual code I used. It was called blueprint, and it's just like a flowchart that kind of like connects together, and it's just like it's building blocks. And the building blocks have like lines in them. Lines go into them, so one building block connects to another one, and then it tells how to do that. And so all the building blocks tell each other like what to do, and then it all kind of radiates out to things actually happening and things actually doing stuff. Yeah, sorry, I know it was a bit brief.
We'll get straight in the demo. he's very tired. He was out this morning for Tombola as well, so he's been busy. We did the live demo. Yeah.
Switch over?
Yeah.
Is it going to look at the demo now? You go
Get the
first.
headset on. Oh, really good with a headset. Wow.
We actually got it working this time. We got the headset working this time. Yeah, we had a bit of an issue because we literally Lewis spent a full night last time trying to get it working, but sadly at the last minute we couldn't get the VR working. So before you guys came down, I made sure everything was like working and it was good. So yeah, it's working this time.
Right, and now I'm going to compress it out to 40 yards. Yeah, and then just get on your phone, yeah.
This is weird.
Yeah, I know, it's the future.
There you go.
Features here.
One in each hand.
Oh, you already,
Oh,
right,
no,
well
no,
done,
no.
well done. Yeah, and,
There's got like little labels to stick to the controls to let
Right, it's about to start. So I'll just look around, get your bearings before we do anything, and then we'll start to explain how it all works.
Shouldn't be in the way.
Okay, so you've got two.
How was the control room? Oh, it's
Yeah.
a mad.
Yeah, right. So you've got two controllers in your hand. You can look around 360, and can you see your hands if you?
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh, my.
Right. So your index finger should be on a trigger that you can pull, and that'll clamp your hand. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can clamp your hand with that, and that'll grab objects.
Yes.
And if you see where your thumb's off, you move your thumb slightly along. Oh, yeah. So you'll have big dial. If you press the big dial, and don't let go.
Oh, my hand's disappearing.
Turn right, right. So you're against the wall. So if you turn, you can see what direction.
What's that thing, that blue thing?
Right. So you can teleport. So when you press the circular dial, it'll bring up a blue bar, and that'll tell you where you're going to end up.
Ah, right. So would I point at that?
Point out what you
Yeah.
want to, where you want to
So
go.
if you teleport, and then if you point away from the so if you try to go near the computers.
Can I walk? Ah.
No, you can't stop. Sorry.
Sorry, right.
That'd be good though. That's
So if I point it towards those computers.
yeah, and then if you put your thumb on the circular dial, and if you hold it in, and then
Oh, yeah. I'm here at the desk now. Yeah. Oh, I've lost them. Yeah.
you just turn around, yeah.
This needs to be bigger.
So what do I do? Press it again?
Just turn, yeah. So you don't press it, you hold it in, and
All right,
you've got
okay.
it, so you aim it, so you can aim where you want it, and make sure you've got it where exactly where you want to go.
This is so disconcerting.
Yeah.
So I turn around, if I point, right, so I'm looking at the desk now, okay?
Yeah.
I'm turning around. Actually, I'll have to turn around.
Yeah,
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 it
it's a sphere. Right, so if you hold the big dial in where your thumb is,
Yeah.
and then aim it, and then release where you want to go, and then
Oh,
and then there you are.
yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to guide you through the first section. The first stage, you've got to find out which station has the issue. So you see these 5 monitors in front of you.
Yeah.
See, they've each got a name,
Yeah.
and they've each got 3 numbers below them.
Yes.
So each station produces has produced 3 figures. And you've got to find which figures you have out in each in a station. So if a station has a figure that's much lower than the other 2 figures, then that
Right.
station's having a problem.
Okay.
So if you look at them, and you can see a lot of them have the numbers that are in the same ballpark, but there might be one station that has one
Well,
that's.
see, Reddit isn't looking too clever at the minute. Would that be right?
The numbers are low, but if you look, they're all around the same. They go up in the same range.
Right, okay.
So that's to trick people out. So it might be a high number, but it might just be low relative to the other numbers that are there. So it might just influence you to think that's.
So
if you
I can't actually see the far one.
if you just aim so either side of the desk, and then you can.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
So that one, the last number there, 0.
Yeah, so it's that one. So total's the one that having the issue. So if you do 180 relative to the monitor, so if you opposite wall of the monitor.
Spin around.
Oh, turn around.
Yeah. Sorry, I know it's strange. I know it's really strange.
Okay.
It's really weird when you first go in.
So then, am I going over there?
So yes, you see these 5 blue buttons.
Yeah.
If you select toggle at the end, then you can.
Is that it? I can't actually see it with my eyes. Oh
It's
yeah.
the last one at the end. So
Yeah.
it correlates to the letters as well. So if you
Oh,
just
great.
right, so
I'm very close to it at the moment.
yeah. So if you go close to it, triggers it. So now if you turn 90 degrees.
Any direction?
Left, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Yes, no, sorry, can you go back then 90 degrees above it? Right, yeah, cool. And then,
Over there?
yeah, can you see that blue door?
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you touch that door, you'll be able to go to the next area.
How do I touch it?
If you go close, you can just reach your hand out, And then,
Yeah, you go to go the next level.
Dear me. This is frightening. Oh, I'm on a golf course.
so can you see, yeah.
Wow.
So can you see a stick in the ground? That was can you see a stick?
Yes.
Yeah, so if you go up to the stick,
I've lost it.
think you're
I'm
right.
a bit too close.
No, just turn.
You select them?
Oh,
There's
oh,
it.
that's behind us. Oh, oh, wow. What about?
So you can actually grab the stick, and that's a listing stick that leakage engineers
It
use.
certainly is. Can I grab it with my hand?
Yes.
Yeah, you just need to. If you're not quite close enough, just teleport there. Yeah. But yeah, right. So if you grab it, can you see the blue? Can you see the blue circles?
Wow. Yeah.
So if you touch the blue circles, it'll make a certain noise, and the noises aren't in properly yet, but it's going to be. If there's not a problem there, it's just going to have like a fluid sound, and if it is, it's going to like.
Am I too far away from it, do you think?
Yeah, you need to get like quite close.
So can I teleport a bit?
Yeah, just teleport around.
Oh, I'm in it.
Yeah.
Is this water?
Not really, but
I was
just
going to
maybe
say
like.
it's up in my waist if it is. So what do I do now?
See, you can hear that clicking noise. That's
Yes,
that's just a placeholder, but in the later games, it's going to have like real sounds. But for now, that just represents there's no problem there.
Right, yeah.
So if you hear like a more electrical clicking noise, that represents that there's an issue. So you just have to go around checking the different points with the listening stick.
Right. So do I have to keep this
Yeah, it is.
listening stick gripped?
Yes.
Yeah, but
Or could I release
that
my
can
hand?
be changed. Yeah, it can with movement, but we can edit that. That doesn't really work that well.
They're all making a sound. Oh well, actually no, that one isn't. Oh, sorry.
I should have warned you.
Goodness me. This is bizarre.
Oh,
Oh, I'm out in the field now. Why my hand has stopped moving?
Maybe you need to just take a step backwards. The TV might be blocking the sensors.
yeah.
Alright.
Oh, yeah.
I think you drop the stick.
Well, we'll skip on to the next part for now because
Yeah, if you could, because I'm.
it's a little bit over. I'm going to have to do some tweaking, but so if you look over to where the fan is, look where the gets you. Just turn around. Can you see the fan?
Have I got physically turned off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So you see
van?
that fan, yeah, right. So teleport to the fan.
Big white ball. We couldn't get
Right.
3ds Max to work
So,
on the
yeah,
computer.
there, do I get
It
closer?
kept saying that it
closer,
needed a license.
So
Just
the idea would be
stuff.
when
I
you're
didn't
checking
know
the
where
locations,
anyone
have
was,
a
so
look
we
at
were
maps.
just like,
IT
Yeah.
services?
And if you found one that you thought had a problem, you
we've
could
had the
just
problem
go touch
beforehand,
it.
so we're just like,
Right.
IT
Can I
services?
touch that now?
Yeah, you can, but so.
we didn't have much
so
time
touch
to
one of
because
the
loads of
buttons,
literally just
switch
come in,
off.
so.
Can you shout it like
Yeah,
look up a little bit?
Yeah, split up.
Can you look up? See, so there's a red cross.
Oh.
If you get 3 red crosses or 3 wrong locations, then you bring it to the real screen.
Oh, so I'm a proper leakage technician, and if I get 3 fails.
Yeah.
Can I touch another one?
Yeah, you touch this one.
Do I have to physically move, or can I reach out and touch it?
You might have to get a bit closer, but yeah, get it. Yeah,
Ah.
that's free. So that would
No.
technically be free on the green, but that hasn't been implemented yet.
So I haven't found any leaks?
No,
No, poor.
there's only one to be fair.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you want to take the helmet off?
Yeah.
Do I want to take this helmet off?
Just like looking laughing. Andrew just stood there like void stains.
Was not being default.
Bizarre.
I know I had to go last time, but that was even more, yeah.
That's brilliant. Well done, everybody. And the ambient background music is
Well,
perfect.
I've never had someone test it, so I think now I know what works, what doesn't work. And I can,
Does there soap one go? Just
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I mean, I've been sweating a bit.
Do you want a wipe for the
Yeah.
thing? Just because we're.
We've got some wipes over here.
Oh, they're over there. Yeah, just give a quick.
I've never ever had one of those on before.
What did you think?
It's very bizarre, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, that's superb. It's great.
Is it a good representation from, have they learned well?
Yes.
because I mean, if there's anything that's not, again, we can make edits and we can make sure.
Because we've got about a week until the Innovation Festival, so we want to get as much stuff in as we can for
Yeah, we'll
that.
still do a decent bit before, and then we've still got a lot that needs
The
putting in.
noises, obviously you need some development.
Yeah, we need more of an oomph to the noise. Yeah, that was always placeholder, but we just didn't have enough time to get the noise.
We'll also have it.
I've got the noises burst on my phone.
We'll give it a
You could
try.
easily send it made through email or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I tried to send it.
I can see it on your
Yeah, it'll be weird, isn't it? Right, we're
Try
going to
the
test
issues.
it, but you may have to change
If you
it.
want to,
We're not too sure that we've got the
I'm
right
gonna try, but I don't want to be like just grabby.
Yeah.
Well, we did try the last time.
Okay, so-
I've got a video of it, and it's actually all good.
Yeah.
Or the right way around?
Yeah. Okay, so the index fingers against the trigger, and if you press the trigger, it will clench your fists. And you can use that to pick objects up.
Okay.
And then you see where your thumb is on your right hand? Yeah, you can use that to teleport. So you
Okay.
hold it in, hold the dial in, and then you aim where you want to go, and then you can travel there. And remember 360, so you can look in all directions.
So we get that onto.
Yeah, so
Okay.
Thanks for
So I can see all the screens.
yeah, so you just need to find a station that's having an issue at the moment.
Yeah, how that makes
And do I just touch it or?
No, so this is just used for monitoring, and then you go to the back and you go to the actual village you want to investigate.
Well, you try something by email, like, was that like attached to the file line? Email is most reliable, you know.
So there's 5 blue dials on the back, and once you have a village in mind, you can select one of the dials by going through it and hovering your hand and looking around it.
I got like 25
Yeah,
megabytes
so
limit,
if
so
you put your hand in front of one of
then Messenger's even worse, obviously.
yeah, switch that to
Then you just do it on like Trello or something.
and then if there's a blue over there, and if
You think they have a lot of followers for channel view button?
I'll say,
Maybe that's what they want though.
Okay.
Charge extra for like an expansion. For a megabyte, yeah. Quid a megabyte.
So you go towards the stick.
yeah, the gold flag.
Yeah, the golf. Yeah, golf.
So if you get close to the stick, and then
Is
you
that
can,
why there are numbers in the grass?
yeah. It's a little buggy there.
No, I tripped on it.
Oh.
Can I pick it up?
Yeah.
doesn't seem to have sent you. Maybe it's up at the bottom.
You download it.
It's teleports back. It teleports back to the location by
Oh,
itself.
So I need to get myself there. Or is it gone?
Depends on the link in it.
I think in 10 seconds it
Oh, yeah.
teleports back if you scroll away. Should do.
But we'll be adding the bonus
Actually,
scene
no.
like probably in the second level.
Go to that.
We'll probably add a few more scenes and stuff like the second level. People have made models
Well, I'll
of
work on ways
Yeah,
to
we'll,
make
we'll
this.
have plenty of models to put in.
Yeah, so you got
You said your fans have done it.
So those are the
Your fans, so you said that's done it.
we'll just stick
Keep
it
it.
and make a note.
Drop it again.
We're filming.
I have. I'm not a computer technician, am I?
Is it that you need to keep the trigger pulled, guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll make an adjustment so you don't have to.
Yeah.
I'm writing the order now. Where's the ball gone? Looks like that.
Good job.